Hello, we're back with Real Talk TV with Clemmy. And today I have a special guest. Her name is Miss Tiffany.
Hey.
Today we'll be talking about strength over mental health. This is another important topic of mine that I think will benefit everyone. So I'm going to start off by getting to know Tiffany. You can let us know a little bit about you, your background. I know you went back to school and everything, so we'll
Yes,
give you
ma'am.
the floor.
Um, I went back to school for to get my medical assistant license. So I got that, and then I got my mental health. My health management associate's degree, and I just graduated from that. Um, and just about me, I'm just a really laid back person, and I love God, and that's what got me through my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tiffany, me and her share a special bond. We are the grandparents of our youngest grandbaby. So Dejan and Essie,
Yeah.
those are our children. So Essie is her daughter and Dejan is my son. So that's how we're so much so close. But we've been down through the years over 7 years now. We have
Yes.
been interlocked. Um, but one of our topics we talked about before was the relationships we've been through, the abuse.
Yes.
Um, Abuse goes back to mental health. So
Yes.
I know I've dealt with a lot of mental health in my life, from being trying to commit suicide. So that's kind of hard to talk about, but I know we have to talk about some things like that. I don't know if you've ever been through something like that, but I know when you're going through things like that and you don't have anybody to talk to or you feel like you're all alone, it can be hard.
Yes, it is.
And I know you have your degree. What do you think about people who, what can you give people advice on who's going through mental health crisis?
Um, I know we all go through stuff that strengthens us, and it does. It helps our mental health. Um, we go through a lot of things, but it does make us. It is a purpose that we go through that because whatever we go through, and we go through it, and then we are resilient because of that. We help others from because it's like a whole system. So everybody going through something. Anybody can go through something anytime, and so whenever you go through something and then you get through it, and it's so amazing. You can help other people through that.
Hmm.
And I know I've been through a lot growing up. I have a lot of trauma growing up, and I've seen a lot, did a lot, and I did a lot of bad things for myself, trying to hurt myself too, and, I've always reached out to God, and God has always been my strength, and He's always pulled me out of everything that I've been going through. And so ever since I like got closer to God, I stopped smoking cigarettes, I stopped smoking weed. I mean, I just, I, and you just it helps you mentally, not downing yourself, overthinking everything. Um,
And coping with a lot.
yes, it
Yeah.
copes a lot.
And I know when you're going through mental health problems, a lot of times the smoking cigarettes, the smoking marijuana, the drugs can be a coping mechanism
Yes,
that people think would help.
that's temporary though.
Right. And it's temporary. Like you said, it's temporary. Like some people smoke crack because of some of the mental health issues they
Yes,
go through. And what happens? You're chasing that high, but it doesn't take away your problems.
that's
It
right.
doesn't take because you're gonna wake up and you still have the same problem.
That's
We
right.
have to deal with those things head on. I know you just said that you went through a lot of things that led to mental health.
Yes,
If you want to talk about any of that, that might can help somebody else.
yes. I've been on drugs. I've my whole generation, my whole family has been on drugs, and it's like a cycle. And so we finally broke that cycle with my cousin Jason, and he started one by one breaking the cycle with all the family, and now it's trickled down so far, and it did finally get to me. And whenever I broke that cycle, I seen my kids go through it, and I felt like it was my fault that they went through it, but I know that they're adults and they make their own decisions, and so I relied on God to show me and guide me, to guide my children to not. Uh, I know I can't tell them not to do drugs or don't, do or don't do drugs, but I just pray for them, and I just continue to think positive and stay positive for my mental health, because that's what helps me stay resilient, and it helps me get through everything that I'm going through. Even if I'm having a bad day, or if my kids, I know they have bad days, and I mean, I hate to see them going through bad days, but I just have to pray for them. I have to give everything to God, and just pray for them, and pray for myself, pray for everybody, for them to so that they can, God can lead them. Because I mean, at first, whenever I was on drugs, I was younger, and
What age did you start?
I started when I was 30.
30.
Well, like when I was younger, like a little kid, I did drugs too. But and then I started having kids, and I got married, and I was okay. And then after a while, after me and my husband went through some problems, he we it's like I like turned,
Relapse.
I relapsed, and I just
Do you think you relapsed because of what you and your husband went through, or just was it a number of things, or you know?
it was a number of things, but I made that as an excuse to do the drugs. And I mean, I thought I was having fun, but just temporary. And then
Mhm.
after a while, you just start hating yourself and not wanting to be on it, but you can't stop.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's just
So what made you wake up that one day and say, "Hey, enough is enough"?
the pain that the drugs put my body through, and seeing my kids go through it, and seeing other my family members go through it. Like, I've seen family members, die from drugs. My dad, he passed away because of drugs.
Yeah.
And and I'm just I'm just grateful that it helped me, because sorry, I don't like talking about my dad.
I know. I know. But this will help you get through. And a lot of times we don't have an outlet to talk. That's why I created this podcast right here, because it helps us. Mental health is real. Mental
Yes,
health is
it's so
something that
real.
a lot of people go through. And a lot of people don't have voices. We can't talk about it. We can't talk about, I've had to take a mental health break at work.
Yes,
We go through a lot at work. We go through a lot in life. Our kids put us through a lot. We just have so much built up inside that it can break us. But I want to tell you, I'm proud of you, because number one, not only did you beat everything that you went through, you went back to school, you got your associates now, you went and got your medical license, and you beat this whole thing. Like, it's a testimony. This is something that your life went through, but you overcame all that. And now look at you now.
yeah,
And so your kids, they see that.
yeah,
Your kids see the greatness in you and what you went through and where you at now. Just because we go through things in life don't mean we have to stay there. Don't mean that we have to continue to go through those things. People always say, "Oh, that person on drugs, they'll forever be on drugs." Don't believe that.
yeah.
Don't believe that, because you can
You
get
can
off.
change.
You can change. People can change all the time.
Yes,
And you know, I'm sorry about your dad. And my dad, he died of alcohol poisoning. He was an alcoholic. You know, my mom, she passed away of congestive heart failure, but what led to her congestive heart failure was the drinking. She never did drugs, but she drunk. She partied hard, but she was using alcohol as a coping
Yeah.
mechanism herself. She did not have an outlet to go to. She went through a lot growing up in her life, from being abused to being beat on to leaving the house and getting pregnant early. I have a sister that she was adopted. My mom had to give her up for adoption, so that kind of hurt her all through her life. But she didn't have an outlet to go talk to people. People didn't understand mental health back then. Like, we put a lot of emphasis on it nowadays, but back then they didn't.
Yeah.
And a lot of people either killed themselves because they felt alone, drunk themselves to death because they felt alone, did drugs because they felt so alone. So now is the time that we speak up, give
Yes.
ourselves a voice to let us know that, hey, I went through this.
Yes.
I came out of this. I tried to kill myself 3 times. Wasn't successful because it wasn't my time.
That's right.
God has the last laugh when it's time for you to go. It wasn't my time, but I didn't have an outlet back then. I thought what I was going through was bad, and it really wasn't. It wasn't, as bad as I thought it was. From being abused and all that. Even having kids early, and you raising kids your whole life, you think you're doing good, and then something happened, and I was kind of going through like a bipolar stage. Like, my highs, I would spend a lot of money. Spending money, going to the club, going to get drugs, going to do this, and then
Yes.
coming back, and then I'm depressed because, I done spent all my
Yes.
money.
I know.
So it's a cycle.
Yes,
it's
it
a cycle
is.
you go through. So, but it's something that a lot of people nowadays, they do go through.
Yes.
So I want to ask you about your kids now, which I know Essie, she's doing good. What do you think? I know all your kids are grown. Do you still hold that weight on your shoulder to still do a lot for them?
I did. Not no more. I gave it all to God, because if I mean, whenever you trust God with all your heart and don't lean on your own understanding, He's gonna make your path straight, and that's what I believe with my whole heart. That God is gonna make my path straight, and if I give them to Him, and just keep praying for them, and they're gonna make their paths right.
Yeah.
I
And then
just
just looking at your story, they're gonna want to make it right, but we do have to let our kids be grown.
yes.
We have to let them be grown. As parents, it's hard,
Hmm.
and some of our mental health issues too come from our kids.
Yes, I
Trying to
know
raise
that's
them.
right.
So,
Yes.
but we have to let them be grown.
Yes, be grown.
Be grown.
Yes.
It's not saying we don't love y'all. It's
Right.
not saying that we don't care. We do, but we have lives to live
Yes, we
now
love
too.
you.
Once you get grown, it's time to be grown.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
I do understand that. But um, the pain and the suffering that you went through, and everything. How do you feel now?
I'm just grateful. I am so grateful, and I have peace in my heart that I don't even understand. But I have so much peace in my heart, and I'm just grateful. I mean, I have a job. I have a good job. I work at a mental health place, and that's what led me to come and talk about that today. And because I know, they can get through this.
Yeah.
I know if I got through it, they can get through it.
Do you see a lot of people who go to the mental health institution, but they just there to get by, and then you think once they get out, they're gonna revert back to doing whatever? Or do you see a lot of people who asking for help or need help that?
When they go in there for help, they need help, and we try to talk to them and tell them. Oh, shoot, sorry.
He's fine.
I try to explain to them. I've been here before. I've done this before.
Yeah.
You can get through this. It is. I know it's not easy, but everything that you're going through is going to be a purpose,
Yeah.
because you're going to help other people. You're going to be blessing others from what your experiences.
Right.
And that's what, I just keep telling them and just explaining to them, and just to trying to, be a positive role model for them and my kids and my grandkids.
Yeah. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, this was another episode about mental health with Real Talk TV with Clemmy. Thank you, Miss Tiffany
You're
Allen, for gracing my stage today. But
I
it
was
was
kind of nervous, girl.
I know. I'm always nervous when I go on TV, but it was a pleasure to have you. And thank you for your story. Thank you for the courage to come and talk about some of the things that you went through, and especially about mental health, because
Yes, ma'am.
it's not easy. But until the next time, y'all have a great day. Real Talk
Yeah.
TV.